Alright, welcome back to the channel everyone. Today I'm going to do what was my first ever video for this channel, which is a flush mount horn button mod on my buddy Tommy's MOMO steering wheel. So we're doing the Honda NSX Type R horn button, transferring that over to the MOMO flush mount horn button. So if you can see here that this is the type that sits on top of the steering wheel, and this is the type that sits flush with the steering wheel. I'm going to transfer the horn button to this housing, and then we're going to have to shave down, because it's a Works bell hub, we have to shave down the ring. So the ring, there's this thing that I call the retention ring. This holds the the horn button in place in the hub. It sits right here. And this is what you have to shave down. So it's not exactly a full bolt-in process. You do have to do some modification to this ring, and you have to do a little bit of swapping of parts between these two pieces, because there's a little bit, in order to retain the amount of play or travel for the button. So if you are unfamiliar with it, I have again the first ever video on my channel. But we're gonna have to do mix and match between like the spring and everything like that, and the housing. They are probably made a little bit differently, but once I pop these open, we'll show you what I mean. So first step is to disassemble these housings. So this is probably one of the hardest parts of it, but you do have to essentially just press down on these tabs. And there's 1, 2, 3 tabs all around. So you kind of have to press down very hard in order to free the horn button. So just going to show you guys like that. Okay, this one's going easier. All right, so like that. So we have the pieces. There's this ring right here with the 3 tabs on it that we just pressed down on. There is the horn button, which is just a thin stamped piece of aluminum. We have this brass dish, which is what makes the contact with this button back here for the grounding, and the grounding wire, which doubles as a spring. So this grounding wire, which spring-ish, is what sets this loop right here, grounds it, and it connects to this dish, which touches this button, which then is riveted to this male spade terminal, and that's how you get your power actually. Also, that's how power and ground connect, is by that with that. So power is through here, and ground is essentially right here. When you connect it to, that's when your horn goes off. So those are the parts. You disassemble both of them the same way, and then you will mix and match the parts depending on how much travel one gets you. Because if you just straight swap over the Honda button, I think that it's not going to give you enough travel. Be careful of stabbing your hand. All right. It's a little scary. So here's a quick look too at these 2 buttons. You can see that the Type R button is a lot thicker. The MOMO button is very thinly stamped aluminum, whereas the Type R button is plastic, and it's a lot thicker. It's probably like 4 times as thick. So that's also why, and you can see here that these dishes, the Type R one being this copper one, the amount that they protrude, or dish, whichever way you want to look at it, is different, probably because the button itself is thicker on the Type R one, which is why this is more shallow than this side on the right. These parts are the same, and these springs are the same. So actually we'll probably just be able to switch the button and the dish over. So we'll set these aside. Throw this guy, actually, no, I need to back up for a second. Not only are these different, but these are different as well. So that's why you have to do mix and match. So you have to look at the housing. If I had just switched over the copper dish and the Honda horn button, it probably wouldn't have the right amount of travel, because it's hard for you guys to see, but this silver tab on the Type R sticks out a lot further than this silver tab on the MOMO flush mount. So probably a good 3 millimeters or so difference. So let me see if I can show you guys. Hard to see from this angle. This one is more shallow, so we're going to use actually this dish, and then with the Honda horn button. And the horn logo is on top. And we are going to, there's a notch in this plastic thing that lines up with the horn button for top dead center. Put that over, put that on, make sure the horn button's at the top. Okay, this is not gonna work. So this already is not gonna work. There's no play in the button. I'm gonna probably have to go with this one. There was absolutely no play. So we're gonna go with the Type R dish and reassemble. And okay, so now we have lots of play, and that's exactly what you want. So let's see here. So it was just a quick swap over of the Type R button and the Type R more shallow dish. So this is good now. Can set all of these aside. So the next step is to grab your steering wheel and figure out how much you need to shave down. So this guy's gonna sit in here. And basically your steering wheel is gonna sit flush on this blue surface right here. And the thickness of your steering wheel is a lot thinner than what you see here. The silver part plus the horn button, that's gonna make your horn button stick out. So you do need to shave down a portion of this silver area that sticks up above this lip. This lip keeps this silver retention ring from slipping further down into the housing. So you want to retain that lip. Essentially, you're going to probably be shaving down everything to that lip. So we're gonna go ahead and do that right now. So this is a Spoon Gen 3 steering wheel. You can see here that the horn button sticks up. So it sticks up. I'm putting it on here to see if it sticks up evenly, and it's slightly uneven, I think, ever so slightly, by like 1/2 mil. I think the bottom sticks up a little bit more by 1/2 mil than the top. That's what my eyes show. I'm not sure if that's the reality. So we're just gonna shave a little bit at a time. My recommended method is to use a belt sander. I realize not a lot of people are gonna have that. So if you're gonna, the first time I did it, I just used like a palm sander. And that took a long time. So use your method of choice. But there's other methods too. But the goal is to get it sitting like that. So we're going to go ahead and start shaving this guy down, and then I will show you the process. All right, for the next step, we're just going to want to take off this top portion, pretty much down to this lip, but not down all the way yet. We're going to kind of get like 3/4 of the way, and then take it slowly, testing with the steering wheel off and on. Okay, I got it grinded down. So you can see here that it's flush, but if I had used bolts and tightened it down, it would actually sink the steering wheel in, probably like a good millimeter or so. So you have those two opposing forces. Like it, you know, in my case, I got saved because even though I forgot to test fit with the grounding ring, meaning the steering wheel would have, the horn button would have been sunken in more. Too much, I would have ground off too much. Tightening the bolts actually later on made the steering wheel sink in even more, and I actually had to end up grinding the retention ring even more. So that's just a quick note to watch out for that in the whenever you guys do this. when I do tighten the steering wheel down with the bolts, it will suck it in a little bit more. So I may have to grind down like a tad bit more, like a touch, like a nano-millimeter, but we'll see. I'm going to tighten some bolts in right now and we're gonna find out. All right, so I went ahead and test fit some bolts and it's very, very, very flush. So this is exactly how you wanna do it. Just grind down a little bit as you can. Once you get like 3/4 of the way, start slowing down and test fitting on the steering wheel to make sure you do not grind down too much. I've ground down too much before, and I've had to use like tape in the inside to put more tension on the steering wheel button and make sure it doesn't go in more, because when you do press the horn button, it will end up pushing it down more depending on like what you're using to hold out the horn button in the case that you did grind down too much. I find that, you know, in my experience now, you just basically easiest to, you know, get it perfectly on the spot. So that's my tip for you guys on that. All right, everyone, quick note on this part where I showed the steering wheel mounted onto the quick release using 3 bolts, and it's flush with the horn button on the amount that I ground down on the retention ring. 2 things that I need to mention. One is I forgot to test fit with the Workspell grounding ring. The grounding ring is a aluminum ring that Workspell provides with a tab that sticks down towards the center diameter to ground the horn. That is going to sandwich between the steering wheel and the quick release. So it's really important to test fit with that, because that's going to add thickness to your steering wheel and make the steering wheel stick out further than it normally would without test fitting with it. Also, if you install with all 6 bolts and fully tighten it, it'll suck your steering wheel in quite a bit, as I already mentioned. I only used 3 bolts here and I didn't fully tighten it, so that's why it looks flush. But later on, when I fully assembled and I thought I was done, when I had the grounding ring installed and we fully installed all 6 bolts, it actually sucked the steering wheel in quite a bit, and I had to disassemble everything and grind the retention ring down even further. So just something to watch out for. Okay, so further note, don't forget, for quick Workspell people in general, you do want to have this grounding ring. They provide you 2. One goes between the hub and the quick release, another one goes between the quick release and the steering wheel. This guy is how it's going to get ground from the other side of the quick release to your hub to this side, and then you're going to install this, connect this to your power, and you'll be good to go. I'm going to install it at about 8 o'clock or so. Hopefully it's out of the way of everything on the back. Top hole mount in line with the H with the horn button. Top dead center on the horn button. All right, all the way in. Now you can adjust the horn if needed, so it's top dead center. So we have the cutout in the retention ring at about between 8 and 9 o'clock, and the top of the horn button aligned with the top hole, which is the hole to the right of this little set screw that they have in here. Make sure it's set all the way. So it is getting pushed out a little bit. It's hard for you guys to see, but there's something that's springing out. So I'm going to pull this out. I'm going to bend this guy in more, like that. Bend it down in there so it gets out of the way. Okay, so you just want to make sure that it is sitting flush. I was pushing it down and it was ever so slightly coming up, which like a 0.5 millimeter, which would bother me seeing it on the steering wheel, raising the horn button. So you just want to make sure that the grounding tabs, the grounding ring, everything behind the horn button is staying out of the way and bent out of the way completely. and that way the horn stays down flat. So now we can install the steering wheel on the quick release and install it on the car, and we're done. So that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments below.